Okay, so let me just be sure I've got it. Hearing all that in the background. Okay, so okay, I'm trying to pull up the exam. I think we're in good shape. It's showing. Now, let me see if I can bring you all into it. Tell me you all can see the exam, can you?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, let me tell you about the exam. Your exam is already open for you to see on the system. The issue is it's on a lockdown browser. If you open up and start your exam, what's going to happen is you get, normally I get a class amount of time, you get a certain amount of time to complete an exam. 2 hours. But I went to them and asked them to give us more time. If the time is controlled by the college and by the system. So I asked for the most time for you guys possible. The other teachers felt like a limited amount, the maximum time is 6 hours. I got you. So you got 6 hours to do the exam. If it takes you more than 2 hours, I would be shocked after the review. That's number one. You have a choice of A, B, C, or D. Don't leave it blank. You have a chance to do the exam twice, believe it or not. I think you do. Anyway, your exam will be due Sunday at noon. I think we talked all about that, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions of me about the exam?
I have a question. I did the review on the eCampus, and one question that we did not have on the review was the matrix variable, solve for variable x. How do we do that if we will have it?
I haven't done the review, have I?
No.
I'm going to cover it tonight.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it on the review.
Yeah, did you get the review that I sent you?
Yes, I did.
Does it look like what you see in front of you?
Most of it, just that question we just didn't have on the review.
I'll show it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem. Who is that?
Lizette?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, my goal is to make sure you guys get A's. All right. Number one problem. This is a graph, and they want to know what the domain is. And Jose, you're recording all this now, right? Okay, thank you. So notice that on a graph, on this particular graph, it shows you have something like this. Now, we can exaggerate this. This really could go like this. So regarding the domain or the x, it's infinite. Both directions. That's the domain. Yes. The y, the range, starts here. I believe it's at negative what? 4?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So negative 4. And it goes upward positive infinity. That's number 1. Lizette, can you be my fact checker?
Yes, I can.
You got the answer key?
Yes.
So you sound like it. So, okay, good. So number 1 should be B. And my fact checker says that's good or wrong.
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. Let's go to number 2. Some of them I'll go back, some I won't. Number 2 says they want us to solve this problem. Now, in order to solve this, we have to square both sides. We square the left side for sure, because then we get 5x plus 50. But if you square the left, you got to square the right. You get x squared. Now, we want to solve this by finding the zeros. Push all this stuff to this side. That's going to give us 0 equals x squared minus 5x minus 50. This breaks down to x minus 10 and x plus 5. That's when you factor it. That means x is either equal to 10 or negative 5. Now think about this. This is kind of an unusual problem. It says x is equal to this. Notice, Tiffany, you're here. Tiffany, are you
Yes,
there?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm
I
here.
need to ask you a quick question.
Yes.
Okay, on your participation, I show that you attended every class or watched video but one. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Let me fix that. Good deal. You're fixed.
Okay.
So the problem with this is, think about this. Can an x squared ever equal a negative number? The answer is no. So this is not possible. It's extraneous. The only answer is 10. Therefore, it's B. Fact checker?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Number 3. Three says we have the absolute value of x plus 7 minus 3 is less than or equal to 5. Now, in order to solve this, an absolute value problem, you got to get 3 on the other side. So you're going to say x plus 7 is less than or equal to 8. Now, the rule is in an absolute value problem, just like x squared equals, let's say, 9, you get plus or minus for your answers, and that's 3 for this one. For this one, the other answer is going to be x plus 7, and we put a negative 8. But when we put a negative 8 on the other side, it changes the direction of these things. That's the rule. Now we solve them. X is less than or equal to 1. You subtract 7 from both sides. Get x by itself. Or x is greater than or equal to negative 15. This is easy to graph. This is 0. This is negative 15. It's greater than or equal, so it's bracket. And if this is 1, go bracket this way. So here's your solution. Based on that, I get A.
Yes.
Number 4. 4 is a level 4 problem, but we got it, no problem. It says f of x, which you all know is y, is equal to a negative 2x plus 4. And that the g of x is equal to 6x plus 9. Now, the question says build g of f of x. That means g is our main function. That's 6 times x, whatever x is, plus 9. But x is this. Because it says so. It says g. G is our main function. And we putting in f for x. That's what it says. That's what this means right here. So we're going to put it in. Negative 2x plus 4. Whatever comes first is your main function. You did that. Now I just multiplied out negative 12x plus 24 plus 9. Combine like terms, negative 12x plus 33. I get B.
Yes, that's correct.
Next, we have 5. At any time, if you need an explanation, slow down, just say so. F of x equals negative 3 times x plus 7 and x minus 3 cubed. Now, in working a problem like this, it asks us about multiplicity and zeros. The exponent is the multiplicity. So technically, you can see the 3 here, but there's 1 here as well. The 0 for this is negative 7. So the first one is negative 7 with a multiplicity of 1. The next one, the 0 is 3 with a multiplicity of 3. Now, the other rule is anytime you have an odd exponent, the line crosses the x. Anytime you have an even, it touches. So for this part, it crosses, and for this part, it crosses. So the answer is negative 7.
Yes.
Yes, negative 7, multiplicity of 1, crosses x-axis. Multiplicity of 3 touches and crosses the x-axis, 8. If it touches, it has to be an even number. So that should get you through that problem. You guys should be good to go. Number 6. I'm writing these down because I think it makes more sense at this point. Some I won't, I promise you. We have f of x equals x cubed times x plus 2 times x squared minus 6x plus 13. Now it asks us to find all real and complex roots. Those are zeros. The test confuses, well, what do they mean by roots? That's zeros. So this one here is obviously a 0. What makes this a 0 is a -2. And this one, to find these two, we have to use the quadratic equation. Quadratic equation is -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. The a is equal to the number in front of this. That's 1. The b is the number in front of this, which is -6. And c is the constant, which is 13. So we simply have to plug it in. That's going to give us 6 plus or minus square root of 36. That's b squared 36 minus 4ac. 4ac is 32, or 52. 4 times 13 is, and 1 is 52. All over 2a, which is 2. That's equal to 6 plus or minus the square root of a -16 all over 2. Now, we have a problem here. We have a -16. Now, the square root of a -16 is equal to square root of 16 times the square root of a -1. But if we remember the imaginary numbers, this is the most important one. I squared equals a -1. So this becomes 4 times I squared. But I squared is I, so it becomes then 4i. So we have 6 plus or minus 4i all over 2. They can all three of these can be divided by 2. That gives you then 3 plus or minus 2i. So this is 2 of them. This is 1 of them. So you have 4. The answer then, although they try to fool you, is A.
Yes.
So very, very careful and look at this one. Seven, easy. Are we okay, you guys, still? You still breathing all right? You guys still okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
I just want to make sure you guys are good. All right. The next one, let's just look at these. I do it just for a change of scenery. And this is number 7. If you look at number 7, they give you x plus 1 squared, y minus 2 squared equals 16. And they say, which one of these circles is it? So it's obviously a circle. Let's see how we do it. Notice you have, for the equation of the circle, we have x plus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 16. The center of the circle is always the zeros for this. So this is a -1, and this is a 2. This is also known as the HK. Instead of XY, they write HK, center of the circle. The radius is always equal to the square root of this. And that in this case would be 4. So the center is -1, 2, and the radius is 4. So we got to concentrate on this. That's where the center of the circle is. So we got to find it, -1, 2. So we're going to look. This is not negative. This is a -1, but it's a -2. The only one that's -1, 2 is this one right here. This is the center. And it has to be a radius of 4, so we count 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's obviously D.
Yeah.
Number 8. Number 8 says this. We have a problem that involves a log. Log base 5 to the x plus 4 minus, which tells us this is going to be the quotient rule, because minuses with the same base is quotient. This is to be x minus 3 equals 1. So we have to do two things here. We have to change this using the quotient rule, which gives you log base 5. Quotient means you just change these exponents to divisions. So you have x plus 4 in the numerator, x minus 3 in the denominator. It still equals 1. Now, the change of log to exponential form is you simply change this, the base stays the same. So we get rid of the log, we have 5 to the 1 equals x plus 4 over x minus 3. Now this is really 5 over 1. So we're like crisscross. 1/2 equals 2/4. This times this equals 4. This times this equals 4. The same thing must apply for this. They must equal. So 1 times x plus 4 has to equal 5 times x minus 3. It's crisscross. You multiply them out. X plus 4 equals 5x minus 15. I want to get x by itself, so I'm going to subtract x from this side, subtract x from this side, that's going to be 4x. Add 15 to this side, I have to add 15 to this side, so it's 19. I got to get x by itself, I'm going to divide it by 4. So x equals 19 over 4, and I get A.
That's correct.
Is everybody okay with this one?
Yes.
Number 9. Number 9 is the easiest one on the exam, and I usually have one person or two that just doesn't get it because it didn't watch it. So it simply wants to know at what interval is this thing constant? Well, you only go by the x. The interval starts from here, just draw your line straight down to this one. So it goes from -1 to 1. So the interval is B.
Yes.
Number 10. Look at number 10. You have an inequality with a numerator denominator and you want to solve it. To do this, you set both the top and the bottom, the numerator and denominator, equal to the 0, and you just solve it. I'll show you what I mean. This was a bit dramatic. Didn't mean it to be. So we have x minus 9 is greater than 0 for one of the equations. The other one is x plus 7 is greater than 0. Now this is the numerator, and we have to add 9. So x is greater than 9. That's solved. This is the tricky one. It's the denominator, and we're subtracting. In this case, you have then x, and you have a -7 on this side, but you have to change the direction then. When you make this a -7, you really, it becomes, the sign changes. Remember this. So if we're going to draw this, if this is 0 and this is 9, and x is greater than it, goes like this. And notice it's not a bracket, it's a parenthesis, because it does not have the equal sign. So it starts at 9, goes like this. The other one is x is less than -7, or -7 here. And again, it's a parenthesis, goes this way. Based on that, I get pretend C.
Yes.
Now, let's do this. 11 is considered a level 5 problem. It's not hard to do, but you have to know how to do it. So, it says they're going to give you a difference quotient. This is like the recipe. It says you're going to take f of x plus h. Remember, this is your x because this follows the f. Minus f of x. I don't like it. I don't like any of this. The pen's not working right. I blame that pen. And this is the recipe right here. Now, the equation they give you is f of x equals 8 minus x, or 8x minus 4. So this, in fact, is the f of x. But the equation is 8x minus 4. This is really x here. But this is x as well. So we put in that, x plus h, into the equation. This is the equation right here. We put the x into it. And then it says, right here, it says that wants us to minus f of x. We're going to minus, and this is f of x again. It says minus that. We're going to minus 8x minus 4. And all this is over h. Now, if you get this far, you're home free. This is what you have to understand. The next line then is simple. 8 times that gives you 8x plus 8h minus 4 minus 8x plus 4. Again, all this is over h. Or you can cancel. 8x minus 8x, 4 minus 4. You're left with 8h all over h. You can cancel, they're the same. Equals 8. I get D.
That's correct.
Now let's look at the next one, number 12. So by the way, this is a level 5 problem. It's the highest it gets. Hopefully you guys get it. The next one is the same thing, but the next one is by far not anywhere near as hard as this, in my opinion. Let's look at it. This is an equation they give you. This means you just plug in 2 numbers into your calculator. The only thing you got to be able to interpret it. AO always means the initial amount. The Euler's on your calculator. X almost always means time. A is the future amount. Well, time, it says here, is 120 years. The initial amount, they even use the word initial amount, is 200. So for AO, you're going to put the number 200. You're going to put E, and you're going to take the top number there and multiply it by 120. You put it in your calculator. Now you got to have a calculator for this test. We're going to start using it all the time now. If you don't have the calculator, you're going to be in a heap of trouble. You'll see. All right, so number 12. Let's do this. Let's go straight to our calculator. My calculator has been having trouble, so hopefully it'll work. So we said the first number was going to be 200. We just plug it in because we interpreted it correctly because it said initially. Euler, you can see it's right above ln, so we got to do second ln. There it is. Then they give us the number negative 0.0077, and they want us to multiply it by 120. Push it out of that, and enter, and there's our answer. 79 pounds. They rounded it down. So, based on that, the answer should be D.
Yes.
Next problem. I'll just write it out here. They give you ordered pairs. You have 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Another one. 6, -4. Another one. 7, -4. And 10, 1. Now, determine whether this is a function. A function can have, the x can only have one y. Well, we all know this is an x and this is a y, all the way to n. So all of the x's are different, so it has to be a function, because this x does not have the same as this one. Now, what we used to do is explain it by saying, let's say your name is Susan, Sue, and your birthday is in March. So this is one x and this is one y. But let's say Susan has another birthday in June, which is impossible, therefore it's not a function. I use the names. Mathematically then, if I took -2 and 3 from above, and then rewrote -2 again and put 5, it would be not a function, because this -2 is 2 different birthdays. So the answer is this. It is a function. This one is a function because each element in the domain, that's an x, has only one, or corresponds to only one element in the range. So that answer is obviously A.
Yes.
Very important one to get right. Most students will get this one wrong. They'll write it as a function, but because they'll pick D, they'll get it backwards. $14, the easiest one in the exam. Only if you have the review. Why? Because if you understand zeros, if you have a zero that has an imaginary number, and notice, you guys can see my little thing here, can't you?
Yes, we can.
The 23 minus 4i is a 0. The rules of math are that if you have a 23 minus 4i, you must have a 23 plus 4i. So the answer has to be A.
Yes.
If you have one imaginary, you have to have 2. That's the rule. Now, 15. 15, a lot of students will try to do this one. Again, it's another easy one on the exam. This is a matrix system. You have the equation matrix on the left, and the solution matrix is on the right. So on the left, you have 3, 5, -2, 5. And it corresponds to the solution 37, -8. Well, the first one, A, works. Look at B though. B has the mixed up. The 37 is mixed in with the other side. D kind of looks right, but they mixed up the -2. I mean, this follows exactly, and you don't have to solve it. A lot of students will start on the test and say, oh, I got to solve it. No, you're just building the matrix. Answer A.
Yes.
Another easy one. 16. This line represents a function. And they want you to find the y that corresponds to 1970. Well, this is x 1970, and y is right up here. It's 9%. C. Boom. I don't know how you could go and get anything over here. Thanks. This is just as easy as can be. Are there any questions about this one? 17.
No, sir.
Look at 17. 17 says, I'm sorry, I'm talking or I should slow down. Maybe I'm hyper. A real number is everything except for irrational numbers. Irrational numbers are like 0.3 that go on and on and on. You can see that. It's got a line above it. So obviously 16, -9, 0 are rational numbers or real numbers. The square root of 4, you just have to know it's 2, so that's obviously in there. What about the square root of 8? Well, you can use your calculator. If you put this in your calculator, you'll see it doesn't stop. Square root 8. It just keeps going on and on. It just stops right there, but it goes on. So it's irrational. So based on that, the solution, looking at the choices that you have, are, it's got to be D. 16, -9, 0, and square root of 4.
Yes, sir.
18. 18 is a mistake on your calculator, on your sheet. This should say the square root of x minus 1 minus 2. Now, let's not worry about that first. Let's do the top one. F of x. This is a double equation, means you have two equations. Y is f of x. So we got to calculate it. The first equation is x plus 3. X is less than 1. So let's just put 1 in there. What's 1 plus 3? It's 4. Then it says the next one you got to use. Less than 1. Let's try 0. That's less than 1. 0 plus 3 is 3. So it starts at 4 and it's going down. It cannot include 4, so it's a donut hole. Let's look at our choices. A is 4 and it's going down, so that looks like it's a possibility. B matches. It starts at 4 and starts going down. Matches 0, 3, 0, 3. C and D aren't even in the ballpark. I don't know where they're coming from. So C and D are no bueno. Now, the question is it A or B? Well, let's look at the equation again. This is supposed to be the square root of x minus 1 minus 2 and x greater than 1. Let me write that down for you. Let's look at this. I shared with you it was wrong. It's supposed to be x minus 1 minus 2, and that the domain says x has to be greater than or equal to 1. So if we put 1 in for x, this is equal to f of x or y. They're all functions. If we put 1 in there, we get 0 minus 2 equals y. Therefore, y is equal to -2. So the order pair becomes 1, -2. Why? Because we put 1 in for x. Let's try another one that makes it easier. Let's make it 5. So you have the square root of 5 minus 1 is equal, and then minus 2 is equal to y. Well, 5 minus 1 is 4. Square root of 4 minus 2 means 0 is equal to, or y is equal to 0. So if we make x 5, we get 0. Then how do we do that? 5 minus 1 is 4. The square root of 4 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So we have 2 points to check. 1, negative 2, and 5, 0. Let's go check them. So we said the first one was 1, negative 2. Here's 1, negative 2. Well, there it is. It should have a dot there because it was an equal sign. This is not a mistake. Whoever made this didn't know exactly what we're doing. This is 1, positive 2, so this is definitely not right. But we're going to check the other number. Remember, we got 5, 0. Well, let's see. There's 5, 0. It's right there. 5, 0 is right there. 5, 0 is way up here, so it's got to be A.
Yes.
Number 19. Now, the last 3 of this exam or 4 are easy. We could probably do those and come back. I mean, if people are getting tired. But if you can hang with me, this is not too hard, but this is one we need to learn how to do. Okay, it says we're given an equation here. It says graph the f of x, y equals absolute value x, and they do that for you. Every one of them does that part correct. The standard absolute value of x is the solid line that you see. Every one of these solid lines here is that. So all A, B, C, and D have that correct. Now what they don't have correct is the dotted line. So we have to calculate that. So let's look at the equation again a little bit. It says 1/2 absolute value of x minus 4 plus 6. Well, the vertex for this is always whatever makes this 0 in here. And you all know the number 4 makes it 0, for 4 minus 4 is 0. So if you put 4 in there, you're going to get 6. Why? Because 4 minus 4 is 0, half of 0 is still 0. Then y becomes 6. So we're looking for the vertex to be 4, 6. See if we can find that. A has 4, 6. That looks good. B is no bueno. C doesn't have 4, 6. The dotted line is way down here. D looks correct. It's got 4 and 6. So far we're correct. We have 2 choices, A and D. But in order to get the exact one, we got to put another number in. Let's put 6 in. 6 minus 4 is, so 6 will be our x. So 6 minus 4 is 2. Half of 2 is 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. So the order here becomes 6, 7. Let's see which one that was. Let's look at A. Here's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That touches exactly. So A works. Let's take a look at D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's right over here. It's not even close. So D is not right. So the answer has got to be A. And
Yes.
all I did was graph it. Thank you. Now, my bad. What we need to do now is look at, this is the hardest. We have some hard problems coming up. This is the one, Lizette, that you asked about. I think. No.
No, I did
Did
that
we do-
one. I got that one right.
Yeah, no, it's not this one. the
Yeah, it
next
was
page.
a matrix.
Yeah.
Um,
It'll be the next one. Okay, next page. So this requires a formula. This is a hard one. This is a level 5 problem. Easy enough to do. Let's look at it. It says 5x 2 to the 5th power. They want us to find the 5th term. So we're going to use the formula to do this. We're going to stop. We're going to do it. Number 20. Says we have 5x plus 2 to the 5th power. They want us to find 5th term. Now, the formula says the nth term is equal to n over r, this expression, times a to the n minus r times b to the r. Now we got to identify the terms. The terms we need to identify are the a for this formula. A is this one right here, 5x. It's always the first term in the binomial. The b is always the second term in the binomial. And that's 2. N is always the exponent. The exponent in this particular case is 5. The r is always equal to whatever you're trying to find minus 1. So it's 5 minus 1. This is your r, the term. So now we can plug in all the parts of the puzzle. So in the expression, you have 5 over 4, because 5 minus 1 is 4. A is 5x to the 1 power, because 5 minus 4 is 1. B is 2, and it's to the r power, which is 4. Now, 5 over 4, I know is 5, and I'll show you how to get it. Then this is times 5x and times 16. 2 to the 4th power is 16. 5 times 5 is 25, times 16, and then times x. 25 times 16 is 400, and you get x. This is the solution for this. That answer is B. Now,
yes.
I want to just show you how to get this. This, remember 5? 5 is the R. And the C, in this case, is the what? Is, 5 is the N rather. And C, the R is the 4. So this is called NCR. And it matches these things. And where do we find them? Let's go to our calculator to prove that that's just what I said, 5. So we're going to go to our calculator. We're going to go to math. We're going to go under probability. Here you can see it, NCR, number 3. We said 5 was the first number, N. The R we said was 4. Push it out, hit enter, and you'll get 5. So that's how you'd have to do it. 21. 21 is not a hard one as long as someone explains it correctly. Hopefully this will make sense to you. Now the question says, they give you a drawing. The drawing says it's this. Is this an odd or even function or neither? The rules in math are, if you have a graph that is symmetrical to the y in either direction, it's even. If you have a graph that is symmetrical to the origin, it's odd. If you have a graph that doesn't do anything, it's neither. Obviously, it fits this one, it's even, and that's the entire lesson on that one. You guys good?
Yes, sir.
So I say the answer is C.
Yes.
Okay. 22. Remember the last ones are going to not be hard. 22 is an equation, and you simply have to get the same basis to solve it. That's what it says. So how do we do that? You have 729 to the x equals 81. We know 81 is 9 squared. 729, based on experimentation, using our calculator, would be 9 times 9 times 9, which is 9 cubed, but you still have the x up there. The rule is, if the bases are the same, you can have the exponents equal each other. And then solving for the x is equal to 2/3. This is problem number 22, and I get the answer to be D.
Yes.
Finding the domain of a function of x equals the square root of 21 minus x. The rules are, inside a square root, it can be 0, but not negative. Therefore, if x is 21, it makes it 0. So we found the 0. So it can include 21. But if we try 22, it makes it negative, so it has to stop. We have to go the other direction. And the other direction, we can take any number we want. We can take 0, which is to the left of 21, and you get the square root of 21. You can take a -3, that makes it a positive. So this is the solution. You have to use your brain to think on this one. I get A for 23.
Yes.
24. I will do that manually just to give you a change, but your calculator can do it. You have 11 factorial over 2 factorial and 9 factorial. That gives you 11 times 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 dot all over 2 times 1 times 9 times 8 times 7 dot. Now whatever you do the top, you do the bottom. I'll cancel all those, cancel those. Divide by 2 here, divide by 2 here, you get a 5. So now I have 11 times 5 is equal to 55. Based on this, I get B for 24.
Yes.
Here is your problem. First of all, let me bring to your attention that if we have 3x equals 12, I use this all the time, To solve for this, I multiply by the reciprocal or inverse of that, which is 1/3. That gets x by itself. But whatever I do to the left, I have to do to the right, which gives me 4, the solution. So I took the inverse of this side and multiplied the inverse times the other side to get the solution. So we are given a matrix system. This matrix system, as you can see, you can build it as 2 matrices. One is the equation side, which gives you 5, 5, 1, 3, -4, -1, 4, 1, 5. The solution matrix is 22, 4, -1. So let's call this one our A matrix and this one our B matrix. And remember, if we take the inverse of this and multiply it by a solution, we're going to get the answer. Now, our answer is going to appear vertically, but we read it down X, Y, and Z. This is, did you do this one, Lizette?
I did that one. I got that one right. The other one was asking for the variable x.
Yes, this is asking for X, and let's see, X would be just the first one. So you get the same thing,
Oh, okay.
and this time you're getting the X, the Y, and the Z. But if they just ask you for X, you just pick the first one, X, right?
That's right. Okay.
If they ask you for the Y, you just pick the 3. If they ask you for the Z, you pick the -3.
Okay. I forgot about that. Okay.
So-
Thank you.
So let's go with 25 then and load this into our system so we can practice. John, you still with me? That's under the, did I say right?
I don't think you have a John.
Who would I mean? I'm sorry. I meant,
Okay.
I thought you were calling out a name.
who am I calling on? Man?
Jose?
Jose,
Yeah,
the recorder?
I guess I was thinking of someone else. I'm calling on my butler, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so here we go. Sorry. Jose, yeah, are you still there? Recording video. All right, so now we're going to go to our try to just load what we just saw. No, it's not on. Okay, this one. We're going to go to our matrix systems. Boom. Now, I've already loaded this because I've worked this thing several times today, but you got to go over to math and hit edit. And you're going to go down and hit A. And then you're going to put in a 3x3, and there's your matrix. 5, 5, 1, 3, -4, -1, 4, 1, 5. So that's your A matrix. Then you're going to load your B matrix. So you got to go over to edit, build it, slide down. And the B matrix, that's your solution matrix, is 22, 4, -1. So I loaded it. Now to solve it, I'm going to go back to my matrix systems. I'm going to hit A for enter, but I need the inverse of it, so I got to hit this button right here. Taking the inverse of A, and I'm multiplying it times my B matrix, which is the solution matrix. There it says the inverse A times the solution B, hitting enter, and we get X, Y, and Z. 26. So the answer to this one I get is A.
Yes.
Before I do 26, let me get a drink of water break. I'll be right back. Just give me a minute or two. All right, here we are. Number 26. 26 is a problem that you have to know a couple things about in terms of formula. So, but it's extremely easy. So let me just go to the formula stuff. So they give you this problem that says h of x, which is really f of x, or height, y, equals negative 16 t squared plus 160 t. I wrote pretty good there. All right. Now, when you fire an arrow, it goes like this. This is your graph. This is where you start. This is the vertex. Now, the vertex is in the form of x and y. This is your x part, and the y part is up there. We just don't know what it is. Now, the rules for finding the vertex of a function that is a square is that the x is equal to a negative b over 2a. This in your case here is your a, and this here is your b. So a negative b gives you a negative 160. 2a gives you a negative 32. A negative over a negative is a positive. If you take 160 divided by 32, you get 5. So my x is 5. Now the rule to find y, which is the part that we're missing here, the y, is you plug it in, because you plug in your x and you get your y. Remember, this is y. So we take a negative 16 times 5 squared plus 160 times 5. That's going to give you a negative 16 times 25, which is a negative 400, plus 165, that's 800. These two numbers combined give you a positive 400. That is your y, and that's in feet. The answer I get, based on this, is D.
Yes.
Okay, now remember I told you, once we get to this page, the last 4 questions are going to go, we'll do them in 5 minutes. It's that quick. So just let's get through this page and we'll be fine. I'm just trying to keep you guys with me here. The next one is the inverse function. Not again very hard. 27. F of x says is equal to the square root of x plus 7. Now, we all know that this is really y equals the square root of x plus 7. The inverse says you switch the x with the y and solve for the y. So we're going to make this x equals the square root of y plus 7. We just switch the x and the y. That's inverse. Well, to get the y by itself, we're going to have to square this side, which is going to give us y plus 7. Because if these two numbers match, you get whatever's inside. But if you square the right, you got to square the left. Now, we want to get y by itself. That's all we have to do, so we have to subtract 7 from the other side. So we say y then equals x squared minus 7. I just subtracted it from the side that went away, subtracted this side, and I just switched them around, so it's that. But now, we don't say y because it's an inverse. We say f of negative 1 of x is equal to x squared minus 7. I get D for this problem for 27.
Yes.
Next one. 28. We have 1 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 16 plus 1 over 64. Now, this is a geometric function because it says so. Now, they want us to find the sum of it. The formula for a sum is the sum is equal to the first term, a to the 1, over 1 minus r. Did anybody already get this one?
Yes.
R is equal to the second one divided by the first. So it's 1/4 divided by 1. It's the same thing. If you take 1/16 divided by 1/4, you're going to get the same thing. In this case, it's 1/4. So now, based on that, the first number is, in the numerator, 1. The second one is 1 minus 1/4. It's equal to 1 over 3/4. Now you can put this in your calculator, but you can easily do this. You multiply the bottom by the reciprocal, 4 over 3. And you got to multiply the top by 4 over 3. So the bottom then becomes 1, or the denominator. Top becomes 4/3. That simply equals then 4 over 3. This is number, 28. And the sum of this geometric sequence I get is C.
Yes.
29. The last of the hard ones. The rest is downhill. They give us 2, 8, 14, 20, and 26. They want us to find the nth term of this arithmetic sequence. The formula for this is the nth term, a to the n, is equal to the first term, a to the 1, plus, in parentheses, n minus 1 times your d, which is your difference. Your difference is always going to be the second minus the first, or the third minus the second. So 8 minus 2 equal to 6. So your d is equal to 6. So knowing that, a to the n is equal to the first term is obviously 2, plus We're trying to find, what term does it say? It wants us to find the 20th term, which is equal to our n. We have 20 minus 1, and our d is 6. Based on that, a to the n equals 2 plus 19 times 6. A to the n equals 2 plus 114. Adding these together, I get 116. So the 20th term is equal to 116 for 29, and that would be D.
Yes.
All right. Now 30, 31, and so on. Let's look at that. Lizette, after this, are you busy for a second?
No, that's fine.
Let's take a look at this.
Okay.
Let's look at what we see here. This is a graph. If we put in f of x equals 3x over x minus 5, we get this graph. All the questions except for one are based on this graph. Notice that you have a vertical line here, a vertical asymptote or horizontal asymptote. Most people call this x, but you would be wrong. This is y, and y equals 3. This is a vertical line of asymptote. Most people think this is y. This is really, in fact, x. X equals 5. Now notice that all of this is within the boundaries of those asymptotes. The first thing it says, what is the equation of the horizontal asymptote or line of symmetry? This is your horizontal line. People sometimes think this is an x. It is not. Answer they give us is D. This is y. Y equals 3. So that one is C. Next one. On what intervals is y greater than 0? What do you look at? Let's look at the graph. Greater than 0. Well, this is your y right here. It's the line here. So all this stuff here on the line as it goes to the left is greater than 0. The x's are negative, but it doesn't ask for x's. It asks for the y's. The y's are greater than 0. Here on the right-hand side, as it goes down, the y's are negative. You can see these are negative. On the right-hand side, everything's positive. This is a positive, positive. So all these are positive, starting with 5. This one starts at 0. So this one on the left-hand side goes 0 to infinity. Let's take a look at our solutions. Here's a 0, negative infinity, and then 5. The answer has to be D. There's no other possibility. C is correct, B is correct, but not fully correct. D is correct. And that would be 31. 32. 32 says, what is the equation of the vertical asymptote? Well, we just described it. This is the vertical asymptote. It's x equals 5. 32, x equals 5. The last problem, y equals 0.6x. They want you to graph it. Well, I'm not graphing this. I'm too tired. I'm going to my calculator. I'm simply going to put it in. I'm going to put into my calculator this problem. Jeez, I don't even have this one on my review. I don't know why. Oh, there it is. All right, so we're just going to do that. And this will be the last one. Clear this out. We'll go to y equals, and we're just going to put in the equation. Start over. 0.6. I put an asterisk to graph to the x. I put arrow. We're going to put an x. Right here's our x. And push it out. Now we don't hit enter. You hit graph. There's your equation. It's coming in right now. You can see the graph. It starts left and goes down. It does not cross the x. Let's see which one it matches. It's B. Clearly B. Boom. And that's it for the review. It was a long one, class. It took a little bit longer than I wanted. Are there any, I know we lost a lot of folks. Are there any questions of me for you guys that are left? Sherry, are you good? It makes sense?
Yes.
Sherry, are you good?
Yes, I thought I had one. I was trying to say, I had a question about.
Well, you guys, I want to say thank you for being in my class. I tried my hardest. Some teachers will teach the class now, you know, they don't even come to class. We are not required to be a class, as you probably know. We don't even have to have videos. We're just supposed to put it online and say, read this, this, and this, and give you a test. I don't like it because certainly it's more work to do what I do, but I think the students are better served. At least I give them the option. So
Yes, thank you.
folks like Jose, who videotaped this, I am extremely grateful to. I think his participation grade reflects that, as do others who've helped me out and or I can call on. I really am appreciative. I don't know what else to say, but thank you. If you have any questions, I will send out directions. You have until Sunday noon to do this.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Wickman.
I appreciate you all.
Man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Whitman.
We have
If
the-
anybody wants to say anything nice about me and rate my professor, you know I need that. I do.
No worries.
Yeah, we
Yes.
I mean,
will.
that's what they
Maybe
use to
kick
grade
in
us
some
on,
extra
and
5 points.
that must be Nikia. You guys are great.
Have a good
You
Christmas.
are. I would like to meet some of you guys sometime in the future, but that's probably not going to happen. But you're a good group. I hope I run into you though.
Yes. Thanks for everything.
Good night,
Okay.
Dr. Wickman.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good Christmas.
Very good.
Hey, thank you. That's nice, Lynn. Thank you. Bye, Sherry.